right, everybody, how we doing today? Everybody ready to go?
Yeah.
Good. What was our topic yesterday?
Life critical rules.
Life critical rules. 1 through 3, right?
Yep.
What's number 1?
Never back with a double on the step.
Number 2?
They all post speed limits.
Number 3?
Never back with two on it.
Yeah, for the dual drive, yeah. And then number 3 was both the speed limits, school zones, and ride steps, right? What was our takeaway? Anybody remember?
Follow your life critical rules.
Yeah, and specifically it was never backing with the help on the step, right? All right, so today we're going to go through 4 through 6. So what's number 4?
Yeah, well,
Nope.
always comply with the hazardous energy control program procedure.
Yep. So always comply with the lockout tagout procedure. So what does that mainly have to do with for us?
Cleaning behind the blades.
Cleaning behind the blades, right? So we so that's the main purpose, at least on the driver's side, that we use life critical number 4 for. So before we say anything else, what is our lockout tagout procedure? We have how many steps? 7 or 8? 8. It's 8. So real quick, what are they? Let's go in order.
Notify.
Notify is number 1. Notify who?
Everybody that's on it.
Kind of anybody that's around you, right? Why do we do that?
See? Let them know.
Obviously. Huh?
Let them know.
Yeah, just make sure they know what's going on, right? So they don't see an empty truck and assume nobody's around it, right? All right, number 2. Identify what? Yeah, so you want to identify all energy sources, right? Any type of energy that we have on the truck, we want to identify it. Once we do that, then we do what? Shut down our equipment, right? We turn off the truck. Okay, after we turn off, what do we do? Yeah, we isolate and verify that all the energy is there. And then number 5. Yeah, you lock it out, right? Make sure, and how do we do that? What do we lock out? About the power switch, right? And we use our lock, right? What does our lock have?
A picture of it.
Yeah, so you have the red lock, you have the little tag with the picture on it. All right? And then when we lock it out, what's kind of the secondary step to that one step?
Put the key in your pocket.
Put the key in your pocket. Why do we do that, Otis?
You're the only one that got the key.
You're the only one that got the key, and make sure that nobody else, unlocks it while you're back behind the blade or something like that. All right, after we lock it out, what do we do?
Clean the blade.
Before we do that, what do we have to do though?
Test. Make sure
Yeah, you gotta test your stored energy. What is our stored energy? Yeah, the hydraulics, the handles of the hydraulics, right. All right, then we do what we gotta do, right? We go behind the blade, we do whatever we gotta do, and then we obviously just kind of reverse the process, right? Make sure we unlock and then start the truck back up. All right, so, obviously whenever we're cleaning behind the blade, we wanna make sure we're following that process, right? Along with that, before we do any kind of lockout procedure to get behind the blade, should we ever get behind the truck when it's loaded, when we have trash in the blade, in the body? Why not?
Debris could fall or something cut you.
And they got pressure on the hydraulic.
That's it, right. So even though the everything's locked out, right? Everything, and even if we check everything to make sure it's not moving, there's gonna be pressure on that hydraulic system, and there's always the possibility of that pressure releasing on us whenever we're back there. So we always wanna make sure before we do anything, really, I guess kind of step 1 before 1 is make sure the truck's empty, right? Always make sure the truck's empty before we do it. All right, any other commentary on that life critical rule? No? Number 5.
Safety seatbelt.
Seatbelt. Always wear your seatbelt. Always wear your seatbelt. So, kind of going a little bit deeper on that. Is it a driving rule?
Anytime the truck's in motion.
Huh?
Anytime the truck's in motion.
Okay.
Operating.
All right, so that's where we want to go. Anytime you're operating, right? So there's a little bit of a difference, right, between truck in motion and operating. What's the difference?
Somebody could be dumping a can, you could be at a standstill.
Right? Where else would we be operating but not necessarily moving? dumping, right? So on the resi side, you don't really deal with it, but at the landfills, right? Why is that so important at the landfill to make sure that we're seatbelted? If the truck's not moving, we're just dumping our truck. You know, what could happen that would could roll over, right? You have a soft spot that you're in, or something like that, you roll over, you definitely wanna make sure you're secure to where you don't become a projectile, right? Same thing with, like Damien said, whenever somebody's dumping a can, we've reviewed many incidents, luckily not here that have happened, but where people are dumping cans and they get hit from behind, right? If that were to happen, you're not moving, but if you get hit hard enough or something by a vehicle big enough, obviously you can start moving around that cab if it's significant. All right, so pretty straightforward rule. How do you guys make sure that happens? You guys have any specific processes that you follow? Like individual processes?
So I get in the truck, I just put the seatbelt on.
Just kind of becomes a habit for you, make sure that's the first thing you do. All right, good. And then number 6.
Never zigzag.
Never zigzag. So what's the definition of zigzag?
On my property lane, service drive.
Okay. So is it kind of just going back and forth? Okay.
Across the center lane.
Okay, so yeah, so there's a bit of a difference, right? Zigzagging, obviously, it would be going back and forth, that would be one way. But really, zigzagging is anytime you travel in the opposite lane of travel. All right, anytime you're in the opposite lane. So just kind of want to make sure that that distinction is there. You know, a lot of people do think that it's just whenever you're going back and forth, but if you're in the opposite lane at any time
Service.
and servicing, it's kind of considered a zigzag. Any other questions on that? I think that's pretty straightforward too, right? So with all the 4 through 6, what's a good takeaway for today?
Always wear your seatbelt.
Get your seatbelt on before you do anything else? All right, let's get going.